Good afternoon, everyone. Myself, Fasna.
Myself, Khairunnisa.
Today, we will be presenting on feminist critique of liberalism with a special focus on Martha Nussbaum's capability approach. This topic examines how traditional liberal ideas of freedom and equality have been challenged by feminist thinkers. It also explores how Nussbaum reconstruct liberalism to make it more inclusive and responsive to real social inequalities, especially gender injustice. Introduction to Liberalism. Liberalism is one of the most influential traditions in political philosophy, shaping modern ideas about rights, justice, and governance. Classical liberal thinkers such as John Locke and John Stuart Mill placed the individual at the center of political life. For Locke, individuals possess natural rights, life, liberty, and property that the state must protect. Similarly, Mill emphasized personal autonomy and freedom of thought, famously arguing that individuals should be free to act as they wish so long as they do not harm others. Together, these thinkers established a framework in which freedom from external interference becomes the defining features of a just society. At the heart of liberalism is the principle of equality before the law. This means that all individuals, regardless of their background, are granted the same legal rights and protections. In theory, this ensures fairness and prevents arbitrary discrimination by the state. However, this form of equality is largely formal. It guarantees equal treatment in legal terms but does not necessarily ensure that individuals are equally positioned to exercise those rights in practice. The limitations of the formal equality become evident when we consider real world social conditions. Liberalism often operates on the implicit assumptions that individuals are independent and similarly situated, capable of making choices and pursuing opportunities on equal footing. This gap between formal rights and lived reality highlights a key critique. Liberalism tends to overlook substantive inequality while it removes legal barriers. It does not always address the underlying conditions that prevent people from benefiting from their rights. Simply granting freedom is not enough if the individuals lack the resources, opportunities, or social support. As a result, critics argue that liberalism needs to move beyond a narrow focus on non-interference and legal equality towards a comprehensive understanding of justice. Feminist critique of liberalism. Feminist thinkers argues that liberalism is not truly neutral. It is based on model of the individual that reflects male experiences. Women lived realities such as caregiving, domestic responsibilities, and social restrictions are often ignored. Another important issue is the public and private divide. Liberalism treats the family as a private space, which leads to ignoring issues like domestic violence and unequal labor at home. Emergence of the capability approach. In response to the limitation of traditional liberalism, Martha Nussbaum, building on the foundational work of Amartya Sen, developed what is now known as the capability approach. This framework marks a significant shift in how we understand justice and human development. Instead of focusing primarily on the distribution of resources or the formal granting of rights, it asks a deeper and more practical question: what are people actually able to do and to be in their everyday lives? Sen initially introduced the idea by criticizing approaches that equate well-being with income, utility, or resource possession. At the core of the capability approach is the distinction between means and ends. Traditional liberal frameworks often treat rights and resources as end in themselves. In contrast, the capability approach sees them as means to a more fundamental goal, enabling individuals to achieve genuine freedom and human flourishing. For example, simply granting women the legal right to education does not ensure that they can attend school. In many societies, cultural expectations, safety concerns, lack of infrastructure, or economic pressures may prevent girls from accessing education. The capability approach highlights these constraints and insists that justice requires more than legal equality. Central capabilities.
Central capabilities. Nussbaum identify a list of central human capabilities that are essential for dignified life. This includes life, bodily health, bodily integrity, emotion, practical reasons, affiliations, and control over one's environment. The idea here is human dignity. Every individual deserves minimum level of capabilities regardless of their backgrounds. This is important of feminism because it is directly addressing the issue like bodily autonomy, emotional well-being, and social participation, which are often denied to women. Feminist significance. This capability approach has strong feminist significance. It focuses on individuals within families, highlighting inequalities that exist inside the households. It challenges traditional measures like GDP, which focus only on economic growth and ignore human well-being. Instead, it promotes substantive equality, meaning equality in actual opportunities, not just in a theory. It emphasizes dignity and justice, ensuring women are seen as individuals with their own rights, capabilities, not just as a member of a family. Reconstruction of liberalism. Mata Nussbaum does not reject the liberalism. Instead, she offers careful and constructive reconstruction of it. Classical liberal thinkers such as John Locke, John Stuart Mill emphasize negative freedom understood as a freedom from external interferences. This idea remains important as it protects individuals from coercions and ensures the space of personal autonomy. Nussbaum argues that this notion alone is insufficient because it does not account for the actual condition in which people live, as a person when formally free in a legal sense. It addresses the limitation. Nussbaum expands the liberal idea of freedom into what she calls substantive freedom. Her approach insists that right must be supported by enabling conditions so that individual can genuinely exercise their freedom. For instance, having the legal right to work does not guarantee that women can actually enter the workforce if they face barriers like restricting gender norms, lack of childcare, or unequal access of education and training. Criticism and conclusion. Despite in many strengths, the capability approach developed by Martha Nussbaum is not without criticism. One major concern is the proposed list of central human capabilities through intending to the universal value may reflect certain cultural assumptions. Critics argue that we count the valuable or essential capability can be vary across the societies and imposed fix on risk overlook cultural diversity and local way of life. This raises an important question that can a single framework truly capture the ideas, capture the needs and aspiration of all human beings, or does it unintentionally privilege particular social and philosophical traditions? Mm, However, despite this criticism, the capability approach continued to stand out of the powerful and compelling feminist alternative to traditional liberal framework. It moves beyond the limitation of formal equality by emphasizing substantive freedom, the real opportunity available to individuals by focusing on what people are genuinely able to achieve. Muslims bridge the gap between legal right and lived realities. Her approach foreground the human dignity, recognizing that true justice requires not only just equal treatment, but a condition necessary for individual to flourish. The conclusion, Nussbaum's offer not a rejection of liberalism, but through a thoughtful reconstruction of it. She retains its core commitment to individual freedom and right while deepening its through and emphasizing on capability and social conditions. She makes liberalism more inclusive, responsive, and grounded in real human experience. The capability approach provides a richer and more practical vision of justice, one that integrating freedom, equality, dignity, and pursuing of more just society. Thank you.